PLS UNESA dari tahun ke tahun terus meningkatkan kualitas, baik dari sisi peningkatan sumber daya manusia, publikasi, kemitraan, dan sarana-prasarana. Seiring dengan peningkatan tersebut, maka PLS UNESA sejak 20 Mei 2016 di bawah kepemimpinan Ibu Dr. Gunarti Dwi Lestari M.Sc M.Pd dan Bapak Herianto Susilo M.Pd telah berhasil memperoleh akreditasi A. Hal ini atas dukungan dari berbagai pihak, terutama unsur sivitas akademika dan peran alumni yang saling menguatkan. Kedepan, PLS UNESA akan mengembangkan jejaring yang sifatnya lebih luas dan tidak hanya nasional, namun secara internasional. Adapun visi dan misi dari jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah adalah sebagai berikut. Visi, unggul dalam pendidikan dan kukuh dalam keilmuan PLS. Misi 1. Menyelenggarakan pembelajaran pendidikan luar sekolah yang inovatif, kreatif, dan berkualitas. 2. Melaksanakan pengembangan keilmuan pendidikan luar sekolah berbasis penelitian. 3. Mengimplementasikan hasil penelitian dengan pengabdian kepada masyarakat secara profesional. 4. Mengembangkan kerjasama dengan lembaga terkait atau stakeholders pendidikan luar sekolah. Adapun tenaga pengajar jurusan PLS adalah sebagai berikut.
Dalam 3 tahun terakhir, mahasiswa pendidikan luar sekolah Universitas Negeri Surabaya telah meraih berbagai prestasi, antara lain juara 2 lomba IC tingkat nasional tahun 2017, juara 1 lomba debat Jawa Timur tahun 2018, juara 2 lomba debat bahasa Inggris tingkat universitas tahun 2018, juara 3 lomba debat tingkat nasional di Semarang, juara 3 lomba IC tingkat nasional di Surakarta, dan beberapa prestasi yang membanggakan lainnya. Hal ini pun juga diikuti oleh kesuksesan para alumni. Berikut adalah kesuksesan para alumni PLS UNESA dalam 3 tahun terakhir. Hal ini tentu tak lepas dari keunggulan-keunggulan jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah. Di antaranya, 16 orang dosen di jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah terdiri dari 2 guru besar atau profesor, 11 doktor, dan 2 orang akan segera lulus doktor dari Universitas Airlangga dan Universitas Negeri Malang. Dan hanya tinggal 4 yang register. Sarana prasarana. Ruang perkuliahan di jurusan PLS sangat representatif. Ruangan kelas yang cukup dengan kapasitas mahasiswa, ruang laboratorium, ruang jurusan, dan ruang baca, serta sarana prasarana yang mendukung. Kurikulum KKNI, kunjungan lapangan ke lembaga mitra, praktek pemberdayaan masyarakat, praktek laboratorium site, praktek mengajar di S.Pd seluruh Jawa Timur, dan praktek magang kerja nasional.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Anak-anakku yang tersayang, selamat datang di jurusan PLS Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Selamat bergabung dengan jurusan PLS. Saya memberikan apresiasi pada saudara-saudara karena saudara-saudara merupakan orang-orang yang terpilih untuk untuk bisa masuk di jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah. Satu hal yang saya tekankan pada saudara ketika saudara mulai melangkah untuk menjadi mahasiswa, tetapkanlah batin Anda, langkah Anda, kemauan Anda untuk sukses dalam belajar. Anda mendapatkan mandat dari orang tua, mendapatkan amanah dari orang tua untuk belajar dan menjadi mahasiswa di jurusan PLS. Jangan kau sia-siakan amanah dari orang tua itu, dan jadikanlah amanah itu untuk membuat orang tua kalian bangga. Oleh karena itu, dengan waktu yang ada hanya 4 tahun, usahakanlah itu untuk bisa berhasil, untuk bisa selesai studi, sehingga Anda akan bisa mendapatkan hasil yang maksimal serta membanggakan bagi orang tua. Sekali lagi, semuanya harus Anda lakukan dengan komitmen, dan usahakanlah untuk bisa memanage diri Anda. Karena ingat, ketika Anda yang dari luar kota datang ke Surabaya, biasanya pengaruh kota Surabaya itu akan membuat Anda terlena, sehingga lupa akan tugas Anda yang utama, yaitu belajar, belajar, dan belajar. Sukses untuk Anda. Sekali lagi selamat menjadi bagian dari jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat datang mahasiswa baru jurusan PLS di bumi UNESA Surabaya. Selamat, saudara merupakan mahasiswa yang terpilih. Saudara merupakan mahasiswa yang istimewa, hebat, luar biasa, bisa masuk di jurusan PLS Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Semoga saudara sukses di dalam menempuh studi S1 PLS dan bisa menjadi orang sukses dan berguna bagi nusa dan bangsa. Selamat belajar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam semangat untuk kita semua. Selamat datang mahasiswa baru angkatan 2019 jurusan pendidikan luar sekolah Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Mudah-mudahan Anda dapat mengikuti perkuliahan ini dengan baik, lancar, dan bisa mendapatkan ilmu yang bermanfaat. Anda bisa lulus tepat waktu dengan aktivitas-aktivitas yang positif. Sukses untuk jurusan PLS Fakultas Ilmu Pendidikan UNES.
Jurusan PLS UNESA dari tahun ke tahun terus meningkatkan kualitas, baik dari sisi peningkatan sumber daya manusia, publikasi, kemitraan, dan sarana prasarana. Seiring dengan peningkatan tersebut, maka PLS UNESA sejak 20 Mei 2016 di bawah kepemimpinan Ibu Dr. Gunarti Dwi Lestari M.Sc M.Pd dan Bapak Herianto Susilo M.Pd telah berhasil memperoleh akreditasi
Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercies and blessings, so we can attend and gather in this beautiful meeting without any obstacles. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be given to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has given us and guided us from the darkness to the brightness. Ladies and gentlemen, before starting our webinar meeting, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Excellencies, the Vice Dean of Faculty of Education, the Associate Professor, Mr. Dr. Andi Kristanto, M.Pd, the Head of Graduate of Nonformal Education, Mrs. Dr. Wiwin Yulianingsi, S.Pd, M.Pd, the Head of Bachelor Degree of Nonformal Education, Mr. Dr. Ivo Nugroho, S.Pd, M.Pd, the Honorable Speakers, the Associate Professor, Mrs. Pennee from Kiettkunwong University, Thailand, the Associate Professor, Mr. Narong Kiettkunwong, B.Sc, LLB, M.Pa, LLM from Kiettkunwong University, Thailand, the Associate Professor, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Ghani from University of Malaya, Malaysia, the Lecturer of Faculty of Education, State University of Surabaya, Mrs. Desika Mardiani Putri, S.Pd, M.Pd, and unforgettable, our great moderator, Mr. Muhammad Ashar, S.Pd, M.Sc, from Faculty of Education, and all lecturers and the audiences. I am Almadita Menafais, as the Magister Student of Nonformal Education Department, Faculty of Education, State University of Surabaya. We are pleased to welcome you to our international webinar meeting about cultivating literacy to increase student learning independence in the era of Society 5.0. Ladies and gentlemen, in this nice occasion, let me deliver the structure of today's event. This event will be divided into 5 sections. The first is opening. The second is listening to Indonesia Raya and Mars UNESA. The third is speech from the Vice Dean of Faculty of Education, the Associate Professor, Mr. Dr. Andi Kristanto, M.Pd. The fourth is lecture from Mrs. Pennee from Kiettkunwong University, Thailand, Mr. Narong Kiettkunwong, B.Sc, LLB, M.Pa, LLM from Kiettkunwong University, Thailand, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Ghani from University of Malaya, Malaysia, and Mrs. Desika Mardiani Putri, S.Pd, M.Pd from Faculty of Education, State University of Surabaya. And the last section is closing. Dear audiences, firstly, let's open our heart to feel the blessings. Let's open this event by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. May our event today run well, start from the beginning until the ending. Amin. Now, for the next section is listening to an Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and followed Mars UNESA. Thank you very much. For the third section is speech from the Vice Dean of Faculty of Education, the Associate Professor, Mr. Dr. Andi Kristanto, M.Pd. To Mr. Dr. Andi Kristanto, time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. To the Honorable Dr. Wiwin Yudaningsih, M.Pd, as the study program coordinator of the Master of Nonformal Education program in Surabaya, in Universitas Negeri Surabaya. To the Honorable Dr. Rifu Nugroho, M.Pd, as the study program coordinator of the undergraduate of Nonformal Education program in Universitas Negeri Surabaya. The Honorable Professor Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Ghani from University of Malaya, Malaysia. Hello, Dr. Faizal. Meet again. And then Professor Narong, Kiettkunwong, B.Sc, LLB, M.Pd, LLM. Hello, Professor Narong, and Associate Professor Dr. Bin Narot from Kola Konkan University. Hello, Professor Bin Narot from Konkan University, Thailand, as presenter in today visiting lecture event. And our respected one, Mr. Muhammad Ashar, M.Pd, S.Pd, M.Sc. Halo, Mas Ashar. And as MC and Mrs. Desika Putri Mardiani, M.Pd, as representative of undergraduate of Nonformal Education, Universitas Negeri Surabaya. I am very grateful and proud that today we are able to meet virtually to organize this visiting lecture activity. In this way, I hope that there will be good and sustainable communication and cooperation between non-formal education, Universitas Negeri Surabaya, University of Malaya, and Konkan University, so that after this event, there will be other form of collaboration. In addition, I hope that this webinar can become an intellectual academic, collective collegial interaction space for academic, researcher, and intellectual across discipline, so as to inspire the emergence of new ideas that move things forward. And finally, by asking for the blessing of Allah and saying together Basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare this visiting lecture webinar officially opened. Hopefully, the entire series of events can run smoothly and successfully bring the result and benefit as we expect. Amin, amin, ya rabbal alamin. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Summa salam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for your incredible speech. And for the next is the main section, the international webinar meeting about cultivating literacy to increase student learning independence in the era of society 5.0. And it will be handled by Mr. Muhammad Ashar, S.Pd, M.Sc. Hello, good morning, Mr. Ashar.
Ada suara? Ini Bu.
All right.
Ada telepon.
Sorry. So I actually could not unmute myself previously. Thank you so much.
Hello, Mr. Ashar.
Hi.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes. I could hear you clearly.
Okay, are you ready, sir?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm inviting Mr. Ashar to lead the webinar today. To Mr. Ashar, time is yours.
Thank you, MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Selamat pagi. But before we start, I would like you all, the participants, please turn on your video. Untuk seluruh peserta, mohon kameranya bisa dinyalakan. So we would like to see your face. We don't want you to be sleeping or to be in another event during this webinar. All right, I could still see that some of you haven't turned on your camera. So please turn on your camera. Silakan yang belum menyalakan kameranya untuk peserta bisa dinyalakan terlebih dahulu. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu semuanya, welcome to the international webinar held by Nonformal Education Programs, and also this is the part of the research collaborations between UNESA and the other partners that are joining us today as the speakers. So for today's webinar, we have the theme of cultivating literacy to increase students' learning independence in the era of society 5.0. So we will have a very wonderful 2 sessions today with all of these speakers. But before that, I would like to say thank you so much to the Vice Dean for General and Finance Affairs, Bapak Dr. Andi Kristanto, for opening this event. And also thank you so much for the non-formal education for both of the head, from the head of the Bachelor Education programs and also the Master's Education programs of non-formal education. And also, of course, to all of the speakers who are just joining us now, we have Associate Professor Pennee Narong. Good morning, Prof. Pennee. You good? All right, thank you so much for joining. And also we have Associate Professor Mr. Narong Kiettkunwong. Mr. Narong, how are you today? You look great. Thank you for joining.
You too, Asa.
Oh. And also we have Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Abdul Ghani. Good morning, selamat pagi.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you for joining, professors. And we also have our own lectures, Ibu Desika Mardiani Putri. Ibu Desika, selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
Right, thank you so much, Bu Desika. So before we start, participants, I would like to give some rules for today's webinar. So first of all, please turn on your camera. Second of all, please do not unmute yourself unless the speakers or the moderator want you to unmute yourselves. So in each session, there will be a presentation. And after the presentations, we will have Q&A sessions for about 15 minutes. So please ensure if you have any questions, hold it until the sessions of presentation is ended. And also lastly, please enjoy the webinars. And also please be active during the webinar. So before I start, for the first sessions, this is going to be very interesting because we will have a collaborative presentation. We will have our partners from Konkan University, Thailand. Our long partners, actually, we've been working together with Faculty of Education, Universitas Negeri Surabaya. So we have Associate Professor Pennee Narong and also the Associate Professor Narong Kiettkunwong. So before I start, Dr. Pennee and Dr. Narong, I would like to just read your short CVs, and of course we have a long of experiences. but it's just a short CV of both of them. Bapak Ibu sekalian, saya akan membacakan sebentar untuk kurikulum vitae dari kedua pemateri tersebut. So for the first one, we have Associate Professor Pennee. So Pennee retired after 30 years as Associate Professor in International and Development Education at the Faculty of Education, Konkan University, Thailand. After receiving a PhD in International and Development Education from the University of Pittsburgh, she has been teaching and conducting research in various areas such as teachers development, non-formal, informal education, inclusive education, and age situation society analysis. She has continuously been conducting research intensively in inclusive education with work like a professional learning program for enhancing the competency of students with special needs, a model professional learning program for enhancing the the competency of students with special needs, inclusive education in Thailand, understanding inclusive education practices in schools and the local government jurisdictions, and different paths for inclusion in Thailand, improving and promoting special teachers as leaders in the development of inclusive education. What a wonderful CV from the Associate Professor Pennee. And now I will also present a short CV from our second speakers. That is Associate Professor Narong Kiettkunwong, Ph.D., LLB, M.Pd, LLM, from the College of Local Administration, Konkan University. So Mr. Narong has a background in economics. His early research focused on performance measurements. The main focus of his current research includes economic ethics, the idea of transforming conflict into an opportunity for creating value, as well as in e-government. Professor Narong is also interested in educational issues and has published numerous academic works in this area. Wonderful. So, Professor Pennee, Professor Narong, are you ready for your sessions?
Think so, yes.
Sure. Thank you so much. So both of you will have 30 minutes to present, and to all participants, Professor Pennee and Professor Narong will talk about the literacy culture among students in Thailand, and also with another related topic. So Professor Pennee and Professor Narong, screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Asa. Good morning, everyone. We are honored to be invited to join this challenging topic of webinar. Thank you for inviting us. I'll be the first one who share my knowledge and experience. First of all, I would like to, I have only 15 minutes, so I will go to the content right now. Let me base my concept on the term literacy, which is defined by UNESCO as literacy is the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, compute, and use printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. This is the term literacy. And since the topic is about literacy culture, so actually literacy itself is culture in its nature. Then we try to link this understanding and practice to culture and literacy. The first piece of concept that I would like to share is literacy activities which embedded on social, culture, historical context. Whereas culture and literacy learning is linking to home and community, and then public context, which is institution and public schools. Excuse me, Asa, do you need to translate in the middle, or I can just
No, you can just do.
Okay, I just keep on going. Then let me go into details about these two main concepts on my next slide, please. This is we call cultural responsive instruction. We have to link it to learning and schooling and situation that the children learn. On the left-hand side is culture and literacy activities, literacy learning. First of all, I start is drawing a connection between family and community resources. This is why we call it cultural literacy culture. But the most important thing is teacher have to take the role of literacy learning promotion. And in Thailand, what do they do? Teacher have to be trained to appreciate student home culture, respect, and build the curriculum upon them. At this point, we cannot deny that in the past, there be situation where the advantage or the working class, the student from working class family will kind of feel inferior when they join the school with the student from higher class family. So teacher have to be a key to appreciate their home culture, even though they come from different classes background. And our education national law has declared on 1999 National Education Act that school in local area can develop 70% of school-based curriculum, which is based on the good things of their culture, of their home situation, which the school can choose to add into curriculum as it will be recognized as equal quality as a central curriculum. That is the step forward for literacy culture in Thailand. And then the teacher have to promote cultural commitment, loyalty, and individual. At this point, it sounds like very strange that cultural commitments. This is the way that our school in Thailand try to provide experience for students. For example, we will have activities like co-curricular activity, such as celebrating the festival of their community, of their village, and then the student can organize the function and school support, things like that. The term of promotion of loyalty, we have the core concept of respect for the nation, for the royal family institution, and for the religions. This is also the school role. And individuality, it means that after the student have learned things like that, they have to know themselves and try to find themselves that at what point they are good at, they are the artists, or they what kind of character they would like to be. And on the left hand side, after that, how teacher can connect this. The teacher can draw in connection between family and community resources in their teaching. For this concept, I think it's not far more different from social construction that Vygotsky has introduced. But this is the notion that Thai education system implemented because we don't want the student to just forget their background, things like that. The next one is inquiry project-based learning. This is actually it's kind of new concept, but we don't leave our culture behind. For example, historical studies in the past, we learn from the text, but nowadays, the project-based approach can assign students to have a visit to their local historical sites and investigate and kind of use their question and inquiry to understand and see what is their strength of their local or background of their locality, things like that. And school also provide youth club, community-based and after-school programs. This is an opportunity for students to learn things like music, dance, drama, and whatever the student can integrate with some guideline from the teacher who are supervise these kind of youth clubs. And research indicated that when students involved with the activity in their outside school and culture, they can perform better in their academic standard too. This is very important. And then develop literacy-related skill and practical practices via multimodal activities means that teacher themselves can encourage the student to be kind of student-centered. The game and case-based assignment, things like that, will develop students to be very confidence in what they know and what they can share, and it's better than the teacher just bring the text and teach the student and saying that this is the literacy learning. So the cultural responsive instruction, I think it is a very important key to develop students to be a strong and develop their character and personality as well. So let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, we see that on the left-hand side is culture and literacy learning. So we understand that home and communities play a vital role to provide understand of culture, social order, proper norms, value, ways of life, form of living. I think every society have the same approach like this. Like for in family, we will kind of teach our in Thailand, the family will teach the kids to respect elderly, things like that. This is one of the literacy culture that we really practice. And sometimes we also learning from the monks and the priests. I think in the Western society, they also believe in learning from churches like that. And the same as in Islam, you have the proper norm and value that people learn informally from home and communities. And then move to institution public school. This is emphasize on reading, writing, computer skill, arithmetic, civic responsibility. The last one, civic responsibility, is kind of requirement from school to do so, that students have to respect their rights, voting, and in Thailand, we also have the practice of flag salute in the morning. We sing the national song every morning in Thailand. All these home, community, and institutions training, literacy, development is aimed for students to learn to be a member of society and learn to survive in the society, because we link them to kind of form of living and career for their future. But we cannot deny that in the past, no teacher for literacy has provided valuable and meaningful information for so many students at the same time. I mean, hundreds of thousands of students through the link of just one frame of screen computer. That is the disruption from the technology digital era. So society have to progress, and literacy development is have to be developed too. School, of course, have to step in to be the core of literacy program, and is linked to the knowledge-based society, which is right now. It means that one can learn everywhere. One can learn everywhere because of the power of new technology. That is, the student learn literacy skill in knowledge-based society. School will function with develop cognitive skill, thinking skill, practical skills. We'll see that our students learn to create their own presentation and do their group work and do their collaborative work, like when in their work project, they just produce things in their, they use their computer skill and digital skill to do the work. This is the way that literacy culture is change and integrate and get back to the role of home and communities. So it's reduced the role of home and communities, but it doesn't mean that this is not literacy culture. It's a new culture that when students want to know anything, instead of go to the wise man in their village and ask about this, that, those, they can just open the computer and learn with it. Of course, there is a missing link between the way of life of community and the new generation, but we cannot deny that knowledge-based society is a new literacy culture that we now in every society, I believe, accept it and have to connect with it in order to move our economic development. And the same thing, our students learn to be member of the new society and learn to survive in the society. I think that's all my experience that I would like to share. Hope this piece of information is useful for a piece of thought for the future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Professor Pennee. A show is very beneficial to all of us. All right, Mr. Narong, you would like to continue the session?
Okay, sure. Let's see. Okay. Hope that everyone can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, it's clear and loud. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Good morning, everyone, dear executives of the University of UNESA, and thank you, my fellow colleagues at UNESA, for inviting me for this very wonderful event. First of all, I am very honored to be giving this talk in front of I actually, to be honest, I didn't expect it to be presented in front of like 200 participants because I would have refused if if I know. No, just kidding. Anyway, okay, let me just formally introduce myself. My name is Narong. Last name is Kiettkunwong. I'm associate professor at the College of Local Administration, Khon Kaen University, Thailand. As Mr. Ashar mentioned, that for those of you who don't know me, you might wonder why this man is invited to an education academic talk, because I as you know, I don't have I think here everyone should have background in education or pursuing a degree in education. So only me that I do not possess the degree in education, and I have a background in economic and public administrations. But anyway, well, after I started working with Dr. Pennee probably like 10 years ago, I became fascinated with the issue of education, and have been working on different issues on education, and I have published some publication. These are the list of my, some of my recent publication that I have published. But the only reason why I bring this list of publication up is that I just would like to point out that my talk today is going to be part of my upcoming book, which is the entitled Determining Outcomes and Impacts of Human Resource Development, which is going to be published very soon, hopefully. Anyways, well, I would like to start by confessing that actually I have to admit that I didn't really, I was actually underestimated the topic a little bit. I didn't prepare my presentation until probably like 2 days ago, I think, because I thought that, oh, okay, the topic of literacy culture should be all over the internet, something like that, right? As you know, so that I can grab something from the internet and put it in my presentation, something like that. And then I can just add some information. But not until 2 days ago, I learned it the hard way that I could not actually find anything about literacy culture at all, because from my understanding, there is no universally accepted or precise definition of literacy culture. The only thing I could find is the cultural literacy, which the term was coined by an American educator, Hirsch, Professor Hirsch, referring to the ability to understand and participate fluently in the given culture, which is, I think, Dr. Pennee have already discussed and explained it a little bit about this, the definition about this. So I'm not going to go much into details. So the thing that I would like to make note before I start my talk here is that throughout my talk, right, I'm going to use the term literacy culture and cultural literacy interchangeably, because I assume that these two are identical, right? But well, I mean, academically, if the both terms are have the same meaning, I really wonder why we trying to create the two terminologies that have the same meaning. But anyway, that's just my for my personal note. Okay. Anyways, so basically, essentially, my talk is going to be not really discussing the literacy culture, but I will probably tell you about my struggle preparing for this topic. Okay. Hope this some of this might make sense to you, or some of the concept that I will speak from now on is going to help you understand the context a little bit, if not more. Okay, so yes, I would like to start by defining the term literacy culture or cultural literacy, which was first coined by Professor Hirsch. He also further suggests that cultural literacy is something that is the component that is necessary or foundational for the education now. Also, there are other scholars as well giving the definition of literacy culture or the cultural literacy in the really same way, like Brody. He suggests that it provides students with the knowledge and skill they need to understand and engage with the world around them. I think Dr. Pennee have also mentioned about this point during her presentation as well, that not only that cultural literacy is the way to teach, right? It helps or actually embed students or learners with the skill they need to understand the things around them as well. So it is extends beyond just the learning and teaching. That's for my opinion. Also, Meeks on Meeks book on being literate. Okay, Meeks suggests that cultural literacy is changing in response to new form of communication. So it's dynamic, not static. Okay, so let me summarize this in short for you, right? To help you better understand. I mean, if you already have the understanding, this will be my version of understanding literacy culture or cultural literacy. I think the literacy culture means that it's a set of values, beliefs, and practice that influences how people read, write, communicate, and learn. And literacy culture or cultural literacy is dynamic and evolving. It depends on each society. I even throw in an example that literacy culture in a rural community, right, may different from in the urban setting, right? But they can be interconnected, right? But people in the rural may have the different literacy culture completely than people who living in the urban setting. Or literacy culture can change over time, right? Like Dr. Pennee mentioned that before, it's just like orally, teacher will orally teach their students, something like that. But nowadays, not only that teachers orally teach their students, they can do that through various of means, like through e-learning, something like that too. So it evolves over time. Okay, but I mean, the problem, actually, this is the problem for me. Like I said, my talk is going to be my struggle preparing for this presentation. After reading all the definitions, I still wonder what exactly is the literacy culture, because the term is rather abstract, right? I don't know for you, but for me, the term is quite abstract. It lacks of concrete definitions, right? So when the term is abstract, then it is difficult for me to clearly establish its existence, especially given that I have a background in economics. The thing I care more, I don't know if I should put it that way, it's numbers, right? I'm more interested in numbers, and with the abstract definition, I cannot really identify what actually I am talking about, and I cannot actually measure it. Okay, that is the reason why I would like to maybe take a different approach in explaining the existence of the literacy culture by trying to make it to be more concrete, and then trying to give to suggest, maybe is the better word to use, suggest a way to perhaps measure its existence. Okay, so because I think without the solid foundation of this definition, it's very difficult to ascertain whether cultural literacy exists or not. We can say that it exists, right? But can you really sure that it actually exists, right? So I am trying to make what I have mentioned to you more concrete by I put in a context of example, like today in Thailand, in Khon Kaen, Thailand, it's very wonderful weather outside. But is the weather is good? I mean, how do you really determine what is good weather when someone say, "Oh, it's good weather outside" or "nice weather," right? You cannot really tell me. To me, cultural literacy or literacy culture is something like when you say, "Oh, the weather is good," but I cannot really say, so what do you mean by saying that the weather is good? But if you define good weather as clear sky, right, or outdoor temperature is like say below 25 degrees Celsius, and I have a feeling of going out to do things outdoor, something like that. Okay, so there are at least three distinct indicators. One, sky without the clouds, right? That's the number one indicator, right? Number two, temperatures below specified threshold that I will consider this is a good weather for me. And number three, desire to participate in outdoor activities. These will be three indicators that I will use to identify what constitutes good weather for me. So now I know that good weather exists. Okay. Now I would like to put this into the context of literacy culture. Hope this makes sense to you. Okay. Okay. So I'll use this example. I use two famous guys in your context. I hope that everyone knows that, right? Chipung and Jirayut should be something that you know. That, like Dr. Pennee said that for literacy culture, we choose since it's dynamic and culturally related to each society. Then I try to use the example that might resonate well to you. Okay, so the practical scenario of literacy culture from my view is this: when someone is asking, this happens all the time, right? In real life context, right? And what's actually activities that is going on? I mean, based on this, you cannot really identify, right, if the literacy culture really exists. But if I put it this way, okay, I try to grasp all the activities behind what's going on when the question is asked, when the answer is provided, right? You can see right here that Mr. Chipung here, right? Mr. Chipung here, based on his social background. I don't know if he's from which social foundation. You might know more, right? Okay, he has prior knowledge in him, but his prior knowledge may not be sufficient when he actually entered into a new social foundation. Say Jirayut, right? Jirayut, he's Thai, if I'm not mistaken, right? Okay, so but with only his prior knowledge, it doesn't really help to evolve the literacy culture, in my view, right? Mr. Sipung here has desire to acquiring new knowledge as well, right? And through the interpersonal communications channel, he communicates his question to his counterpart, which is Mr. Jirayut here, right? But I mean, most often time you can see that sometimes you ask some question and you never get answer, right? So I don't think you will not gain anything, right, for unanswered questions, right? So on the other hand, simultaneously, Mr. Jirayut too, based on his social foundation and his prior knowledge from his social foundation, with his personal aspiration to impart or just to disseminate knowledge, right? He give answer back to Mr. Chipung, right? Once the answer is given back to the person who asked the question, not only that the person who asked the question gain knowledge, right? Because he get his answer question. The person who impart knowledge also gain, because when you are trying to answer something to someone, right, you have to think more, right? And that part you also gain wisdom from yourself, and this wisdom contributed back through societal communication to the social foundation, and it becomes, I think it's called collective intelligence, right? Collective intelligence means that the super the knowledge, collective knowledge that people can use, right? Okay, so these are possible activities that's going on when around the literacy culture. Okay, so I grab this activity and put it in the form of a tables like this, right? you can see that it can be divided into the individual level and societal level, right? Activities can be grouped based on the sequences of delivery, right? Like social foundation could be input, right? Prior knowledge is the input in the process of having literacy culture, right? It requires societal communication, right? The output for the societal level is societal knowledge, and with all this, outcome should be collective intelligence, like I mentioned before, right? At the individual level, right? You have the person has to have a desire to acquiring knowledge, right? This is for Mr. Sipu, right? And for Mr. Jirayut, he has to have the aspiration to impart knowledge, right? And these two must have the interpersonal communication to communicate ideas, right? And the output of this is individual knowledge, which later on the outcome will be personal wisdom. Okay, if you can see these activities, it's much easier for you to actually come up with the measuring indicators for each activities, so that you know that the literacy culture really exists or not. Okay, so I give you example, like if you want to measure the something, okay, social foundation, okay, you can measure it by looking at the cultural relevance, right? Which the cultural relevance mean to assess the alignment of the social foundation with the cultural values, norms, and tradition of the society, something like that, right? Or you can measure the interpersonal communication here by looking at the indicator, which is could be clarity of expressions, right? Clarity of expression, which means to assess the clarity of and coherence of message conveyed during the interpersonal communication, something like that. Or looking at outcome here, right? Can you really assess whether this literacy culture is really a positive or negative, but you can look at the outcome, right? You can look at the group decision making, whether the group decision making, when I say group decision making, is like when the whole society actually agreeing or not agreeing to do something, will they use the collective intelligence as tools to help them make a good or bad decision making? And you can even look at innovation as well. Okay, so these are just example of measurement indicator based on my point of view. You might have different indicator. That's fine, as long as you can identify the activities to be measured, and then you can come up with the appropriate measurement indicators for each activity. Then for me, I think that should help you actually know whether the literacy culture exists or not, right? Because you don't want to say, hey, it's good better, but you don't really have a way to concretely identify whether if it exists or not. Okay, so the topic today we're discussing about the literacy culture of students in Thailand, right? I think possible uniqueness of the literacy culture in Thailand is that here in Thai, people are more prone to have low desire to acquire new knowledge. I don't mean that this is the problem now, but it used to be a very big problem, and I will tell you why, right? And at the same time, the other side, right, the aspiration to impart knowledge is also low. This is the possible uniqueness of literacy culture in Thailand, from my point of view, and I could be wrong. And this is, I have to emphasize that this could be long time ago. Why? Because at one point during 2001 and 2010, right, Thai government used to advocate the policy called, I think Dr. Pennee has already mentioned this topic as well, knowledge-based society Thailand, right? You can read more. I have provided the reference here for you to read more if you are interested, right? The whole point of having knowledge-based society Thailand is that it should stimulate desire to acquire new knowledge to the people and also stimulate the aspiration to impart knowledge so that these flow of knowledge could be continuously delivered. Okay, that's from my point of view. Okay, so well, I mean, literacy culture is like every other things, right? It doesn't have just the good side. It's also have something that has to be cautioned with too, right? Because there's a literature that I found. It says that Professor S.Pd discussed that the challenge of evaluating literacy connection between schools and home. He identified 3 complementary ways in which the nature of connection between homes and school can be problematized. I mean, which means that it's really difficult to make a connection between school and home, right? Like number one, I just put it in simple terms. This means that the number one means that how well activities or goals at school align with the activities at home. It's really something that you have to take into account, because what you do at home doesn't necessarily reflect what you do in school and vice versa, right? Something like that. So it's very difficult for the literacy culture to actually have an effect in practice, like at least like wholly. Second, this refers to how well teachers and parents know and understand each other, because often they do not communicate, I think, from my point, especially given that economic situation right now and a lot of things going on around us. I think not only that teachers and parents do not communicate anymore, even parents, they don't communicate to each other as well. Also, there's a third point that S.Pd make remark is that this is about how well the school working together with student families and their communities to help all the students, something like that. So these are some key remarks that literacy culture may have some problems when it comes to practical context in the real world. Okay. Another remark that I would like to point out is that it's based on the article Cultural Literacy, a Terrible Idea Whose Time Has Come by Laila Christenberry. She argues that the concept of cultural literacy is flawed based on 6 specific issues, which I'm probably not going to read out, and I'll probably share this with you, Asa, to disseminate or distribute it. I mean, if you like, okay, so that you can have some idea. So, anyways, I think that will wrap up my struggle to prepare this presentation. Like I said, I didn't have much background about the topic, and I expect that I would could grab something from the literature, but I was wrong. And then so I tried to use the different approach, trying to explain what my understanding about the topic at hand is, and I hope that the approach that I use to try to make the literacy culture, which is from my point of view, it's abstract concept, to become more concrete, so that it become easier when you going to actually implement it in real life. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Associate Professor Narong. So, ladies and gentlemen participants, would you like to give some round of applause to our speakers for these sessions? You could just add reactions to it. Thank you so much, Dr. Pennee, Associate Professor Narong. So, first of all, before we move forward to the question and answer, Dr. Pennee, Mr. Narong, I would like to just give a short summary of your presentations. And thank you so much, Mr. Narong, actually, for your thoughts about the literacy culture. for the topic that is very abstract for some of us, and you are trying to make it concrete so easy to understand that. So Bapak Ibu semuanya, tadi Dr. Pennee menyampaikan terkait konsep literasi, khususnya pembelajaran yang responsif terhadap budaya. Jadi beliau menyampaikan khususnya dalam perspektif Thailand, diharapkan pembelajaran itu bisa berbasis literasi budaya, di mana kita menghargai budaya dari orang-orang atau peserta didik yang ada di sekolah. Dan sebagai contoh, beliau menyatakan seperti ada perayaan festival begitu, dan memberikan kesempatan ke siswa untuk menghandle atau mengadakan acara tersebut. Nah, kemudian beliau menyampaikan pengembangan literasi ini umumnya dan paling utama berdasarkan dari keluarga dan komunitas, dan termasuk pemuka agama, kalau di Thailand mungkin dengan biksu, kalau di kita mungkin dengan ustadz ataupun dengan nilai-nilai agama Islam. Dan beliau menyampaikan bahwa masyarakat kita sekarang adalah knowledge-based society, di mana masyarakat yang sekarang kita bisa belajar dimanapun, kapanpun, dan dengan siapapun. Itu adalah inti dari yang disampaikan oleh Dr. Pennee. Kemudian tadi Dr. Narong menyampaikan kaitannya bagaimana kita bisa mengukur budaya literasi, tapi beliau memulai dengan menjelaskan sesungguhnya apa itu literasi dan apa itu budaya literasi yang mungkin belum ada definisi yang disepakati secara universal, sehingga tadi beliau memberikan beberapa ilustrasi, dan akhirnya tadi beliau menyampaikan dua hal yang bisa kita ukur di level masyarakat atau sosial dan di level individu. Dan mungkin ada satu permasalahan yang sama yang kita alami dengan Indonesia adalah keinginan yang rendah bagi umumnya warga kita untuk mempelajari satu hal yang baru, sehingga tadi di Thailand ada kebijakan KBS atau Knowledge Based Society. Beliau sudah mencantumkan tautan apabila Bapak Ibu atau rekan-rekan mahasiswa ingin belajar lebih lanjut. Alright, so I think that's the summary. So we are moving forward to question and answers. Actually, we have, if I'm not mistaken, we already have like 5 questions on the chat. So I'll read it to you. So I'm going to the first question. So wait, I need to climb on the chat. All right. So the first question is from Agus, from the early childhood teacher in Surabaya. So this question is actually from Mr. Narong. So how to make equality generations in the Gen Z era? How do you think we could support the Gen Z? All right, that's the question to Mr. Narong. Would you like to give some insights about that, Mr. Narong?
You mean how to make things relevant, more relevant to Gen Z, right? Is that?
Yeah. How could
Okay.
we support them? Yeah.
Oh, I think Dr. Pennee said, and I have already mentioned that the literacy culture is evolving and dynamic, right? So
Mhm.
it means that well, we cannot say as a teacher simply we cannot really use the same technique we used like 20 years ago to teach people new generation. That's my number one priority as a teacher to do, right? So we have to adapt our way of imparting knowledge, right? Remember my example about Mr. Sipung, and I don't know if Mr. Sipung is actually famous in Indonesia. I have happened to ask my student. Okay, everyone know, right? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So if, but I mean, I intentionally use this example because I think Mr. Sipung represent like younger generation, right? Okay. So when you, I mean, even I, when I try to give lecture, I have to adjust my approach to deliver the same topic to different audience according to their preference. Like today, I try to use example more because I think it would be very personally very boring for Gen Z to listen me talk and talk based on this book and this book, something like that. That's just my point of view. I don't know. Maybe Dr. Pennee can add something to this.
Sure. All right. So before that, I would like just to give the translations to the
Okay.
audience. So Pak Agus, menurut Mr. Narong bahwa literasi ini selalu berkembang secara dinamis, dan tentu kita tidak bisa menggunakan teknik yang sama dengan mengajar generasi yang 20 tahun yang lalu dengan generasi yang sekarang. Dan tadi Pak Narong juga contohnya menggunakan cipung yang mungkin lebih relatable atau lebih bisa untuk ditoleransi oleh generasi yang sekarang untuk membuat pembelajaran ataupun penyampaian materi kita jauh lebih menarik ke generasi yang baru sekarang. Dr. Pennee, would you like to add something?
Oh, just because I heard that she's come from early childhood
Yes.
development. There is one point that the literacy culture can get into this, which is it's a concept from John Dewey that he said that the young children will learn from their impulsive curiosity. Okay, and in digital era, the kid will see the what do you from iPad or something like that, and the interaction that the teacher and the parents can encourage and stimulate that growth of the brain is, they said, communication and discussion. So usually these days you see that the parents or the teacher will have iPad. They just leave the kid to be with that machine. But in order to help them grow and develop mentally, they said the discussion, the dialogue will help to stimulate them. This is to go with the digital era. That was my thought. Okay.
Thank you so much for the insights. Tadi Dr. Pennee menyampaikan, khususnya tadi bagus karena dari pendidikan anak usia dini, kaitannya dengan ada satu pemikiran dari John Dewey yang menyampaikan kalau anak-anak usia dini itu memiliki rasa ingin tahu yang sangat impulsif, dan sebenarnya ini bisa difasilitasi dengan era digital sekarang. Mereka punya akses ke iPad dan kemudian mereka bisa akses banyak informasi meskipun kita harus melakukan penyesuaian dalam komunikasi antara guru ataupun orang tua berdasarkan karakteristik anak tersebut. Alright, so I need to go fast. So the second question from Dr. Widodo is one of the lectures of the non-formal education. Professor Narong, if you want to answer. So how to harmonize education at home, school, and the public so that good character is developed in children? How could we ensure that school, home, and also the public or in society they could support the good characters for the children? Yeah, that's the question.
Okay, maybe Dr. Pennee, yes.
In Thailand, homeschool has to connect with the local school. So it means that the parents will develop their curriculum and be certified by the local office, education office. But anyway, in that curriculum, there will be some courses like sport or science laboratory that they have to join with the local school. That is to be certain that the quality is still up to the standard that we accepted, and the student can develop their full function of ability of learning and thinking, just like that. I mean here.
Yeah. So jadi ada koordinasi antara orang tua untuk memberikan masukan katanya apa yang harus diajarkan di sekolah dan bisa berkoordinasi dengan dinas juga. Pak Narong, Mr. Narong, sorry, would you like to add something? Or is that all?
Was the question about homeschooling?
No, it's actually about how could we ensure that we could support children in home, in school, but also in society. So I mean, try to connect the home, the school, and the society. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a very good question, and I think that I have already mentioned in my presentation that this is one thing that is really problematic in the concept of literacy culture, because without the connection, I mean the efficient connection between these like school, homes, and societal level, then the flow of knowledge will not be as efficient. So yes, I think this is very very good questions. I think, and also that's why Thai government during 2001 and 2010 they try to implement the initiative called, I said, knowledge-based society Thailand, right? Just to ensure that these societal nodes, right, are connected more efficiently. So I think it has to be partially duty or responsibility of the government to actually put some or exert some activities to make sure that the efficient connection of these units. Yes, that will be my point of view.
All right. Thank you so much. So because we have a very limited time, maybe this is for the last questions. Sorry for the participants, but I have read some of them and actually they have some essence of the questions. So this is about how we could ensure that the young generations have the desire to read and also to learn something new. Especially during the digital era, they might have a lot of things to see on the internet, but how about to ensure that they want to learn something that is beneficial for their lives in terms of the, probably if they are students, then they need to read some textbooks. How could we increase their motivations to do that? Yeah.
Dr. Pennee, maybe you go first.
Encourage. That is a lot of literature mentioned about school have developed a lot of things, knowledge-based society, but how do they encourage or create the motivation for desire to learn? This is difficult to every society, that school have to have find the, what do they call it, multimodal activities. So, multimodal activities that suit the interest or the curiosity of each students. And in some school, I mean, secondary school in Thailand, these days, they try to have the activities like, they call it startup program or something, which is not really emphasized on academic, but something that the student can show off their interest, and then it's linked to the way they get into, find out the knowledge to support their curiosity. This is the strategy that I think is quite useful in nowadays.
Thank you so much. So Bapak Ibu tadi yang bertanya untuk minat membaca, sekarang kita bisa menggunakan pendekatan multimodal yang berdasarkan pada minat dari peserta didik untuk mendukung mereka supaya mereka mau membaca. Alright, Mr. Narong, would you like to add something?
Okay, maybe I'll just answer this quickly by asking question. Asa, do you play golf?
What is it?
Do you play golf, like golf?
No, I don't.
Why don't you play golf?
It's expensive, first. Second of all, it's hard to get the access to the.
Okay, but if your friends, all the friends and all your family and friends play golf, would you be willing to spend some money to learn how to play golf?
Probably.
Yeah, that would be my short answer to that question. I mean, the motivation to learn something is when, it's a social pressure in it, right? It's a 50-50, right? It's your personal desire and exertion of the pressure from if your friends are all reading, then you probably be reading something. Yeah, that would be my short answer to the question.
Left out if I'm not following the trend. I think that's the truth for some of the youngsters. Thank you. Jadi mungkin kita juga bisa menekankan tekanan sosial juga ya Bapak Ibu, karena kalau banyak yang membaca dan kita sendiri yang nggak membaca, mungkin kita juga merasa tertinggal dari teman-teman kita. Okay, I think that's the end of the sessions. Thank you so much, Professor Nar, Professor Pennee, and I know that your preparation is very short, but I'm sure we will learn a lot from you. So before we move forward to the next sessions, we would like to present a certificate for both of you. So the committee, are you ready to provide the certificate to our speakers? Right, so the first certificate is given to the Mr. Narong. Thank you so much. Of course, we'll send you the copy of it. It's just for the documentation. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the certificate to Associate Professor Pennee Narong. Would you like to change the certificate? The committee for Dr. Pennee. Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Narong and Dr. Pennee. So we will move forward to the second session. You are free if you want to join, but you have other activities to do. You're also free to left the webinar. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Okay, you too.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Baik, Ibu Bapak. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving forward to the second session of the webinar. So let me check. Okay, wait a minute, Professor Faizal. All right. Wait, I could not see the slide. All right. So for these sessions, we'll have Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Abdul Ghani from University of Malaya, Malaysia, our partners, and also we have Ibu Desika Mardiani Putri. So, Assalamualaikum, Professor Faizal.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. So, Professor, before we start, I would like to read your CV. So, I got your CV from the university website. So, I'm sorry if some informations are not updated, but I hope it is updated. So, I will just read it from the website. So, Professor Muhammad Faizal Abdul Ghani is an associate professor in the Department of Educational Management, Administrations and Policy, Faculty of Education, University of Malaya. His expertise is educational leadership, focusing on educational management and administration and school finance. His expertise is for the benefit of the society by sharing some academic knowledge, skills, and value in the form of reading materials, such as publishing 9 academic books and 200 articles. His latest academic book entitled Professional Learning Communities, Theories and Practice. In terms of delivering an academic speech, he has been selected to be keynote speakers and invited speakers for some international and national conference, seminars, and workshops. In the research area, besides being an evaluator for research proposals of his university academic staff, he has been awarded more than $80,000 research grants for his interest in effective school, educational leadership, school finance, and principalship. And also, all experience of him are put in the shape of a journal, namely Journal of Educational Leadership, by appointing him as an editor. Besides being an editor for some international journals like Banu University Research Journal in Education, Journal of Economics and Finance, European Journal of Educational and Social Sciences, and International Journal of Education, Teaching and Learning. Wonderful CV, Professor Faizal. So you will have 30 minutes, Professor. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So, well, yes, we could see your slides now.
Okay. First and foremost, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. I think Malaysia is ahead in terms of hours or time. So I'm delighted to be here, and for sure I would appreciate for these invitations. Okay. This is, and also I'm very happy to see here 200 plus audience here. Okay, I'm very happy because this is about learning. So this is part of learning or reading habit. Sorry, for some says reading and learning. Okay, this is the given title, developing of learning habit for among Malaysian students. So for some says reading, for some says studying, but it's a bit similar in terms of the definitions. Okay, this is me, and for sure we have a lot of speakers, and for some we confuse which one is mine. So mine is there, Muhammad Faizal. Okay, this is learning objective. Okay, this is content. Okay, inshallah, this content will be covered within an hour or 30 minutes.
30
Ashar.
minutes.
Huh? 30 minutes. I'm preparing the slide of 100 plus pages. Okay, and I would like to get your consensus to have a bilanguage presentation. I will combine Malaysian, English, and Indonesian. So, so actually, my habit, my habit of presenting something, in particular in formal event. So I would like to have flow from meaning the flow from simple to complex. Meaning to say that I prefer to give definition of my title. So I will give definition, conceptual definition of my variable there. What is habit, what is learning, and etc. etc. So that's my habit or my style of giving talk in formal in particular. So okay, what is habit? So we have two kind of habit, bad and good. So for sure, good is about right now. Okay, good is okay. There, good. Okay, behavior that beneficial. That's okay. I will pick only the main point. So good is benefit us, and then for sure the opposite one is bad habit, with unanswerable behavior pattern. Okay. Okay, this is a bad habit example. So wake up early morning, and this is bad one. Saying we spend our time lots with television. There's the old traditional old practices, but now and currently practice is more on handphone, mobile. So there's a bad thing which we spend a lot of time for that kind of things. Okay, so what is bad? What is habitual? What is habit? So a usual way of behaving, something that a person does often in a regular and repeating way. That's the main point there. Regular and repeating way. Kita lakukan berkali-kali tu. Okay, this is from this is the well-known scholars. This is more on psychology. We what repeatedly do is learn, then it's not a act but a habit. So meaning to say that Aristotle would like to pass on the message that a habit is a repeated habit, repeated practices or repeatedly do. Okay, this is a summary of that habit or an action done frequently. Kita lakukannya berkali-kali. That's habit. Okay, habit. Okay, development. So we have initial, we have learning and stability. So okay, initial permulaannya requires. This is from scholars says that kalau macam mana mau membentuk habit itu, iaitu kita motivasi. This requires sufficient motivation to attempt habit formulation. Maksudnya motivasi, misalnya bangun pagi misalnya, motivasinya mau lihat saya, mau motivasinya misalnya apa itu, bangun awal pagi itu mau ke kuliah misalnya, mahasiswa mau ke kuliah. Kalau enggak, kalau lewat itu sudah tentu dimarahin oleh dosen. Jadi kita itu motivasinya. Kita bangun awal itu untuk segera ke kuliah itu. Kalau enggak akan dimarahi oleh dosennya. So itu yang dimasukkan motivasi, dan for sure if we repeat that kind of action, so it become habitual actions. Okay, this is learning pace. Fasa yang kedua itu repetition. Maksudnya pelaksanaan itu kita berulang-ulang kali. So contextual education, learning from repetition of an action in the context of the time of day. Maksudnya itu apa itu? Kalau konteks mahasiswa itu dikaitkan dengan pembelajarannya. menghadiri kuliahnya. Tapi kalau yang dewasa seperti saya itu misalnya membaca apa itu habitualnya, saya nggak suka membaca, suka lebih pada hiburan itu. Saya nggak suka membaca. Jadi macam mana? Oh, jadi motivasinya kalau orang itu nanti kita lihat apa itu kebaikan membaca itu. Biasanya orang yang sudah tua-tua macam saya itu kalau banyak membaca itu akan menjadikan pikirannya itu menjadi positif saja. Itu menjadi motivasi. Jadi kalau membaca, so kalau kita repetition, and for sure at last it become habitual actions. Stability maksudnya habit forming, maksudnya sudah menjadi satu budaya itu, menjadi satu kebiasaan itu, usual actions. Okay, what is reading? Okay, reading is a process of looking at a series of written symbol and getting meaning from them. Maksudnya kita melihat sesuatu yang bertulis itu. Reading is an action of communication in which information is transformed from transmitter to receiver. Maksudnya reading juga dikaitkan dengan apa itu? Komunikasi. Apa itu? Komunikasi maklumat itu, informasi itu. Maksudnya kita membaca itu daripada buku kepada diri kita itu yang dimasukkan komunikasi. Buku dan kita itu komunikasi. And then transforms maksudnya ilmu itulah. Oh, dulu macam malam tadi ya. Malam tadi misalnya saya hadiri kuliah agama itu di masjid itu. Oh, sebelum ni saya enggak tahu bahawa apa itu. Saya enggak tahu bahawa contoh saja apa itu Allah itu ada namanya Al-Syukur. Disebabkan malam tadi saya menghadiri kuliah, baru saya tahu rupanya Allah, selain Allah itu ada nama Al-Syukur. Itu namanya komunikasi. Tapi dalam kes tersebut saya komunikasi sama orang itu. Pak Ustaznya, Pak Ustaznya transfer itu ilmunya kepada saya. Okay, this is 100 plus PowerPoint. What should I have to be in quick rush. Okay, I think sama juga Complex kognitif tu kita kaitkan dengan otak kita, process of coding system itulah coding yang ini yang katanya ini series of written itu coding juga ya. Kita faham. Okay, this is also reading. Okay, if you only read the books that anyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. Maksudnya kalau kita membaca itu, kita mempunyai buku yang sama. Orang yang baca, kita punya pemikiran juga sama. Okay, I think this is not the main, the climax of this event. Okay, this is in bahasa. Membaca melibatkan kebolehan mengenal lambang-lambang dan terjemahan lambang-lambang itu semula kepada bunyi bahasa dan memahami makna dan tanggapan yang disampaikan oleh tulisan itu. Misalnya apa? Misalnya apa itu? Misalnya itulah data. Maksud saya itu data. Saya mau tanya Pak Asrar apa saya mau nanti saya catat sedikit misalnya itu Pak Asrar kalau ngerti enggak ATNIC ATNIC.
Is that ethnic?
ATNIC.
ATN, yes. Is that
apa itu?
Ethnic?
Itu maksudnya data. Tapi kalau saya terbalikkan tulisannya CINTA, apa itu?
Cinta.
Jadi itu maksudnya informasi, data itu yang enggak kita faham. Maksudnya kalau kita enggak baca itu kita tidak faham. Tapi kalau kita baca, cinta. Rasanya Indonesia pun sama cinta. Sama itu yang dimasukkan oleh Atan Long iaitu kita kebolehan itulah kita lambang-lambang tadi macam tadi ATINC enggak itu lambang-lambang yang enggak kita tahu tapi setelah membaca kita memahami maknanya cinta begitu. Okey, from Brexley membaca adalah terjemahan daripada bentuk tulisan kepada bentuk yang membolehkan pembaca mendapat makna daripadanya. Itulah yang tadi itu Okay, I think this can be I think my PowerPoint can be spread to all and you can read by yourselves. Okay, ini semua pembaca. Okay, important of reading apa itu? Dengan baca kita menambahkan ilmu pengetahuan. Macam tadilah contohnya hadiri kuliah agama itu ya, religiusnya. Dari Pak Ustaz itu beritahu, syukur itu ada salah satu nama Allah. Itu maksudnya menambah ilmu. Dan yang kedua itu, senaman minda. Itu saya punya dosen selalu cakap, Pak Asrar, kalau kita membaca, kalau kita mau awet muda ya. Macam kita lihat itu, kita lihat Chris Dayanti ya. Mungkin Pak Asrar boleh tanya Chris Dayanti apa awet mudanya ya. Tapi kita bukan selebriti kan. So awet muda kita dengan membaca. Ini yang dimasukkan yang ini, senaman minda. Maksudnya kita boleh jadi muda itulah saya enggak minat membaca itu. Nampak tua sudah ya. Nanti saya makan baca banyak. Okey, yang ketiga meningkatkan memori. Itu juga sama yang tadi memori. Kalau kita lupa itu macam saya punya Pak Asrar ya. Kawan-kawan yang tua itu yang umur 70 minggu lepas saya ketemu rakan bapa saya, ayah saya bapa saya, father of mine. Minggu lepas saya ketemu dia beritahulah kalau duduk saja di rumah otak akan menjadi beku. Faham enggak bahasa saya? If only stay at home, our mind will be frozen. So itu bapa itu, orang-orang tua itu cakap dia lebih suka menyertai persatuan, pergi jalan, travel itu, going trips. Kenapa? Lihat wisata, lihat barang-barang interesting places. So ia meningkat memori gitu. So awet muda juga Pak Asrar, habis itu pada masyarakat Indonesia itu Yunisa ya, banyakkan membaca. Saya juga nanti awet muda. Kemudian disiplin, for sure lah, melatih diri untuk disiplin. Misalnya kita mau membaca, mau habiskan satu bacaan buku itu, kita akan tetapkan masa lah. Pagi esok kita akan baca itu berdisiplin. And then tingkatkan kreativiti itulah. Maksudnya dengan kita banyak membaca, kita tahu idea orang, idea in particular aspect. We know, we can share, we know the aspect of viewpoint. Misalnya apa ya, nanti kita lihat. And then mengurangkan tekanan. Maksudnya macam mana stres, macam mana mau kurangkan tekanan dengan kita membaca tips-tips macam mana kurangkan tekanan. Pak Asrar pernah enggak menghadapi tekanan? Sering. Nanti kena banyak membaca tips-tips oleh pakar itu. Itulah memahirkan pembacaan dan tata bahasa itu lebih pada menulis itu kan. Dapat berkomunikasi dengan baik. Macam kita lihat Pak Asrar, kalau masyarakat di negara barat itu dia banyak pernah pergi mana Pak Asrar? Travelnya ke mana?
Australia.
Macam mana masyarakatnya di dalam kereta api, di tren? Membaca. Membaca. Jadi kalau masyarakat di negara maju itu dia banyak membaca. Kalau kita lihat selebriti itu, kalau ditemu bual itu oleh wartawan itu boleh menjawab kan. Kenapa? Itulah komunikasinya dengan banyak membaca. Inilah why read. I think this is similar as the recent explanation impact of reading. Apa impactnya? Nanti boleh baca lain ni. Orang yang sering baca berkemungkinan 2 kali lebih kurang itulah penyakit Alzheimer dia akan kurang. Kenapa? Dia banyak berfikir, otaknya mindanya sentiasa berjalan, berfikir saja. Jadi setiap kali anda membaca buku baru, otak anda akan mencipta ruang baru di mana untuk jangka masa panjang akan menguatkan ingatan anda. Yang tadi sama maksudnya kita membaca ada memori lama, memori baru ya. Macam itu komputer kita kan, buka fail baru, macam itu. Yang membaca kita membuka pandangan baru terhadap kehidupan. Orang yang kerap membaca pasti akan melangkah lebih ke hadapan. Itulah sebab kalau kita lihat itu tamadun negara, salah satu ciri keagungan tamadun negara maju itu sebab banyak membaca, banyak formula yang didapati. Membaca membantu kita mengenal pelbagai corak dalam penulisan. Critical thinking ini big I think itulah sama macam tadi. Ini pun sama, learning itu lebih kurang sama membaca. Okay, the term learning covers every modification in behavior. Maksudnya dengan kita membaca, dengan kita learning, membaca itu menyebabkan perubahan berlaku pada diri kita. Pernah enggak Pak Asrar, setelah membaca sesuatu kita mau ubah kita punya tingkah laku? Apa contohnya Pak Asrar?
Saya beberapa minggu lalu baca ini Atomic Habits. Ada satu buku untuk self development dan itu menginspirasi untuk merubah. Ada beberapa hal dalam hidup saya yang saya rubah dari tips yang ada di buku itu.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Nanti share pada saya.
Sure.
Bila ketemu nanti. Okay, bagus. Okay, ni semua definition of learning. Okay. Ni ciri-cirinya, learning is change of behavior. Ni, I think this is a common percent. Learning is purposive and goal directed. Maksudnya kita membaca itu mesti ada matlamatnya. Universal process. Maksudnya semua proses yang global lah. Okay, ni semuanya. Okay, type of learning, mentor learning, and then verbal learning. Learning input the language, maksudnya kita belajar menerusi bercakap. Macam baby tu, dia membaca, learning, we speak, the communication melalui komunikasi, boleh juga. Kemudian konsep learning, maksudnya dengan membaca itu kita punya higher order thinking, kita punya higher order thinking, pemikiran kita akan lebih kepada yang tinggi itu. Misalnya menganalisis, misalnya kalau kita lihat kucing itu bukan setakat binatang, tapi kita fikir, oh kenapa kucing ini bulunya lebat, kenapa kucing ini ada pelbagai warna. Itu yang kalau kita membaca, maksudnya kita membaca menerusi pemerhatian. Okay, discrimination learning, learning of principle, okay, problem solving, for sure. Kalau yang kita beritahu tadi, dengan membaca boleh menyelesaikan masalah. Misalnya dengan kita lihat tips-tips yang ada dalam tips-tips itulah daripada pakar itu, attitude learning. Okay, culture, penting juga. Habit tu dikaitkan dengan culture. Habit tu pada diri kita, tapi culture tu keseluruhan. Kalau misalnya Pak Asrar seorang, misalnya Pak Asrar kerjanya di mana? Karyawannya di mana?
Di UNESA.
Jabat departmen apa itu?
Special Education, pendidikan khas.
Ada berapa dosennya situ?
21.
21. Kalau Pak Asrar seorang yang membaca itu namanya habit. Tapi kalau 21 itu menyertai ilmu namanya budaya. That's why I include culture in my presentation. Culture is a complex whole which include knowledge, belief, moral, law, custom, other capacities required by man as a member of society. Maksudnya sama saja budaya. Misalnya hari ini pakaiannya sama enggak Pak Asrar? Itu apa yang harinya semuanya beruniform, semua uniform sama. Hari apa?
Senin, putih.
Misalnya Senin ya.
Ya, Senin.
Pakai uniform korporat ke batik?
Putih biasanya pakai kemeja putih.
Kemeja putih tu jadi culture itu yang namanya gini lah, namanya custom itu, budaya semua pakai. Okey. Kira budaya ini semualah. Budaya merujuk pada ciri atau perhasilan tingkah laku yang dipelajari oleh suku pada manusia daripada persekitaran sosialnya. Budaya adalah proses sosial di mana budaya dan struktur sosial adalah saling berkaitan. Maksudnya sosial tu masyarakat lah. Misalnya Pak Asras, Department Special Education, 21 orang, semuanya berbaju putih dan menjadi budaya lah hari Senin. Enggak perlu diberitahu hari Senin pakai baju putih ya.
Sudah tahu semuanya.
Itu jadi budaya itu. Macam mana membaca? Dalam train semua membaca 21 orangnya. Pak Asrar?
I don't think so.
Okay, you have to observe. Observe is part of reading, learning. You have to observe. And insyaAllah, if I come to Universitas Negeri Surabaya, I will ask you about the homework. Okay. Okay, currency of culture. This lah shared learning. Dia belajar social. Okay, learning shared. Ini semua boleh baca. Apa kita lihat satu-satu ini, this explanation. Okay, apa adalah culture itu belajar daripada pembelajaran. Culture adalah social tadi lah, masyarakat. Adalah shared itu silap berkongsi. Transformasi itu maksudnya akan berubah. Apa yang Pak Asral buruk dulu berubah sekarang menjadi bagus. Apa itu positif dan diamalkan bersama, apa itu di fakultas? Saya rasa itu penerbitannya, publicationnya.
Yang publikasi artikel mungkin karena sekarang ada
dulu,
begitu jadi
dulu tahun 90-an itu masa dosen itu bertemu cerita pasal apa? Fashionnya, celebrities ya. Itu budaya yang contoh saja budaya yang negatif lah. So sekarang sudah cerita pasal apa itu? Publicationnya.
Hopefully, mostly.
Mostly itu culture is transformative. Dia boleh berubah. And then continuously berterusan, consistent. Sudah itu enggak Pak Asral, macam dia itu dah menjadi kebiasaan. Kalau kami itu tidak berbual tentang apa itu fashion, mau lebaran enggak cerita pasal kasut, semua cerita pasal apa itu
makanan.
Research cerita pasal publication, itu nama consistent, dynamic, creatively, various from society. Dia berbeza. Misalnya apa di Universitas Malang, Negeri Malang, apa ceritanya? Apa budayanya, Pak Asrar? Pernah ke Universitas Malang enggak?
Pernah, tapi tidak pernah lama.
Oh, tidak. Yang observe itu mahasiswanya lah, bukan dosen, mahasiswanya. Apa budaya mahasiswanya?
Sama seperti di UNESA. Mungkin ada sedikit yang membahas tugas, assignment. Mungkin yang lain bahas, ya mungkin hal-hal yang viral di internet.
Mungkin itu Pak Asral belum lagi buat kajiannya. Itu maksudnya ingat Pak Asral, culture itu berbeza antara satu masyarakat dengan masyarakat beda. Mungkin Universitas Negeri Surabaya lain, beda dengan Malang, beda. Nanti buat research, nanti when I come over to your place, I will ask the homework. Okay, ini baca sendiri lah Pak Asral yang tadi tu. Okay, and also I don't forget about cultures of school. Okay, this is Sir Giovanni. Is a collective programming of mind and distinguish the members of one school from another. Pun sama juga, characterized in school is constructed reality pun sama Pak Asrar. Dia macam tadi lah, yang 21 orang tu berbaju putih ni sama lah. Program kolektif maksudnya satu yang sama itu, satu sama itu. Misalnya putih, semua putih. Setting kolektif program. Itu Sir Giovanni cakap lah. Culture sekolah itu apa? Semua warga komuniti sekolahnya itu mempunyai pemikiran yang sama. Contoh saja. Inilah apa yang sama itu, values. Ini. Apa yang sama itu? Itu behavior, values, attitude. Value, misalnya apa itu? Behavior misalnya semuanya berbual. Contoh saja, values misalnya menghormatilah mereka yang tidak pandai menulis artikel. Itu values. And then behavior, dia timbul daripada values itu. Maksudnya kita tidak mengherdik misalnya. Attitude itu kita membantu. Kita membantu sama lain. Itu yang dimasukkan oleh Sir Giovanni. Collective program of mind. Collective of what? Of these three main things. Behavior, value and attitude. Okay, principle. So in school, for sure, the main player in having a good culture, for sure lah, principal or kepala sekolah. So this is the role. We just go in glance, okay, of what can kepala sekolah buat in order to have reading budaya itu. Faham enggak Pak Asrar? Kenapa saya bincang budaya? Kalau habit itu satu orang saja. Kalau budaya satu masyarakat itu misalnya. Okey. Inilah tugas-tugas. Berapa lagi masanya Pak Asrar?
Masih ada 5 minutes.
Okey, tak apa, ini baca sendiri. Okey, ini principles. Okey, principle. Okay, inventory. This is ni lah. Maksudnya kalau kita mau menilai budaya macam mana di sekolah itu. So kita ada 5 jenis budaya. Sekolah yang merangkak itu yang ini. Okey, sekolah kita lihat sekolah yang merangkak struggling itu. Itu yang struggling yang ini. Have the will to improve but lack expertise. Ada kemahuan untuk perbaiki tapi enggak ada orang yang pakar. Lepas tu struggling. Kemudian sekolah tenggelam itu apa? Sinking. Sinking itu lack, dua-dua enggak ada. Budaya enggak ada, kemahuan enggak ada, skill pun enggak ada. Sekolah itu enggak mau berusaha. And then apa itu crushing sekolah crushing itu efektif, bagus sekolahnya tapi tapi boleh berusaha lagi, dia bersungguh-sungguh and then moving yang bagus sekali itu working together, keep developing. So kita mau budaya ataupun habit yang macam mana, moving itu semua bekerjasama dan akhirnya akan membangunkan sekolah itu Okay, ini this is Malaysian Malaysian habitual on reading Okay, yang pertama itu rekod tahun 1997 menunjukkan purata rakyat Malaysia hanya membaca 1 helai saja puratanya. Tahun 2002 pula meningkat 1 helai lagi, 2 helai. And then 2005 2 nafkah buku sepanjang setahun itu hanya 2 unit buku saja. Itu di Malaysia menakutkan itu. Okey, yang kedua purata 2 naskah buku yang dibaca dalam tempoh setahun adalah bahan yang santai, itu bukan akademik Pak Asrar, itu komik, majalah akhbar-akhbar bukan akademik itu. Malaysia itu Okey, dan 2005 mendapati tak apa. Kajian perpustakaan 2014 mendapati purata baca masyarakat meningkat 15 buah buku setahun masih kurang lagi kemudian itulah kajian itu bacaan pilihan rakyat Malaysia akhbar 61 Pak Asrar, buku ilmiah itu akademik itu 54%, novel fiction 47, bahan datang 46 buku fiction tu buku-buku yang itulah bukan akademik 29 komik so maksudnya masih lagi dalam kritikal berbanding negara maju nanti boleh tu Pak Asrar. Yang banyak itu 61% akhbar, baca surat khabar newspaper. Okey, kemudian 70 suka inilah kajian juga rakyat Malaysia 85 suka membaca pada kadar kekerapan yang tinggi 2016. 7 suka membaca akhbar, 3 majalah maksud akhbar suka membaca inilah e-book 2008 mahasiswa ini di mahasiswa pula membaca tujuan peperiksaan berbanding pengetahuan enggak sama faham enggak Pak Asrar examination oriented itu baca untuk periksa, kalau tidak periksa enggak mau membaca Okey, kemudian gemar membaca yang e-book saja, yang malas-malas bawa buku itu e-book saja berbanding hard copy Okey, mahasiswa mengatakan mudah membaca gambar yang menarik. Itulah dia hanya pilih yang ada gambar saja. Okey, ini di universitas di Malaysia. Ininya kalau kita lihat buku yang dibaca mengikut negara itu 2005 tapi masih lagi lama Malaysia itu rendah membanding negara maju Amerika Syarikat, China, India, the Kingdom. Okey, di kalangan mahasiswa juga inilah tadi hampir sama yang tadi hampir 600 termasuk tourism. Okey, ni jumlah buku yang dibaca oleh mahasiswa Australia ini global ada 180 buah buku Indonesia 94. Okey, Thailand berbanding dengan Malaysia 4 buah buku dan Pecaran 6 buah buku sedih Pak Asrar rasanya enggak mau teruskan lagi presentation ini kerana membaca ini. Indonesia lebih ke depan berbanding Malaysia. Malaysia hanya 4 buah buku dozennya 6 buah buku. Tapi Indonesia 94 buku setahun Okey, ininya Malaysia itu Indonesia itu tinggi Malaysia itu 1% di kita panggil itu di universitas Okey, Malaysian habit inilah trend-trend yang tadi boleh baca sendiri nanti Okey, yang ini reading habit in the world so let us see Malaysia enggak ada Indonesia enggak ada juga Okey, Okay, this is from owner. Okay, strategies. How to overcome the problem. In particular in Malaysia, we can see that among mahasiswa itu hanya 1%. Also in among remaja itu. Remaja itu, teenagers itu lebih membaca hiburan, entertainment, bahan bacaan. So how to overcome. So this is from Western view of point. So kita ada 3 fasa permulaan. Okay, misalnya apa itu permulaan itu? Matthew, misalnya di Malaysia itu Pak Asrar sekarang sudah ada kempen membaca. Macam mana di Indonesia? Sama juga.
What is it, Professor? KP?
Campaign.
Campaign.
Reading campaign sama ya?
Sama-sama. Kami ada waktu literasi di sekolah-sekolah itu, they have like 15 minutes for students to read.
Okay, very good. Okay, good. Good. Great practices. Okay, itulah maksudnya perubahan selari dengan visi negara dan sekolah. Yang kedua, visi yang jelas dikongsi bersama. Satu perancangan strategik. Maksudnya itulah bukan hanya tiba-tiba saja ad hoc, tapi mesti ada perancangan. Misalnya di Malaysia itu setelah 1 tahun ada penilaiannya, berjaya enggak program tersebut. Okay, inilah vision mission. Okay, and then this is tentang itulah vision. Okay, culture, bentukkan culture. Yang kedua itu macam initial fasa yang pertama itu bentuk culture macam mana? Yang macam tadilah kita kita ubah yang negatif kepada yang positif. Itu restructuring itu apa? Iaitu mana-mana pemimpin yang enggak selari dengan vision ataupun enggak, misalnya vision kita itu mahu membaca, murid itu mahu memupuk develop reading habitual among student. So kalau kepala sekolahnya enggak suka membaca, itu masuk restructuring. Keluarkan dia, ganti dengan mereka yang bagus. Faham enggak Pak Asrar itu restructuring? Itu yang pertama itu. Maksudnya fasa yang pertama inilah restructuring. Okay. And then fasa kedua, sokongan itu tanggungjawab. Itulah maksudnya sekolah mesti sokong hasil dari sudut keuangan itu, dana itu. Okay. Training itu, kepimpinan itulah. Contoh-contohnya itu kepimpinan pembelajaran. Maksudnya pemimpin juga suka membaca kalau kita mau pupuk atau develop reading habitual. Okay, ini characteristic of learning leaders. Nanti boleh baca sendiri, ability to deal with empathy. Okay, nanti boleh baca sendiri. Membangunkan community, kita berkolaboratif lah. Misalnya hari ini belajar apa, kita berkongsi. Okay, ibu bapa juga main peranan. Okay, fasa yang akhir sekali, fasa pengekalan, sustainable. Maksudnya dah menjadi budaya, penekanan pada perubahan dalam struktur sekolah, penghapusan amalan yang secara bersaing. Enggak macam membaca itu tidak perlu lagi essay oriented, tapi lebih kepada meminati ilmu itu. Okay, inilah strong culture, weak culture, values. Misalnya Pak Asrar, misalnya yang tadilah, kalau dosen itu bertemu, dia cerita pasal apa itu? Pasal penerbitan ya. Itu maksudnya inilah strong culture. Kalau itu bertemu pasal celebrities itu weak cultures. Okay, reading, itulah untuk membentuk tamadun yang bagus dengan membaca. Kenapa? Inilah ciri-ciri yang disenaraikan oleh seorang scholars. Apa yang ada pada sebuah negara yang maju itu. Sudah tentu misalnya ini high level, low level of employment. Sudah tentulah kalau karyawan itu sudah tentu majikan mau ambil yang educated. Itu maksudnya high education rate. Itu berkaitan dengan, semua berkaitan dengan apa itu? Semuanya berkaitan dengan reading. Technology advantage. Teknologi macam mana? Orang yang pandai dengan membaca. Itu semua maksudnya untuk membentuk negara tamadun bangsa yang unggul itu sudah tentu dengan membaca. Ini senarainya. Hari sekali ini research oleh saya. Macam mana mau membentuk model Malaysian model reading habitual, model for Malaysian student. So saya gunakan kualitatif itu, menggunakan interview, structured interview. And then approach-nya guna Delphi. Apa itu Delphi? Delphi yang ini consensus of expert. Maksudnya saya punya itu seramai 15 orang ini Pak Asrar, yang bukan 10 itu, yang 15 expert saya yang 15 itu memberikan pandangan macam mana mau membentuk model habit membaca itu. Okay, itu kita panggil Delphi, iaitu consensus of expert. Okay, ini contohnya expert panels. Kita buat temu bual, and then kita analyze, kita akan dapat questionnaire. Okay, ini 15 orang akademik, pemimpin tertinggi, kementerian, ministry, semua terlibat, orang-orang yang besar itu. And then analisis datanya gunakan thematic analysis. Kita interview data itu being analyzed by using thematic analysis. So kita dapat tema yang ini, findingnya yang ini. Okay, yang pertama itu apa yang perlu ada dalam model itu? Vision dan mission membaca murid. Yang pertama, pengubalan vision dan mission, tabiat membaca murid. Yang kedua, penyataan vision yang membaca yang jelas. Maksudnya pelajar itu jelas apa membaca itu, bukan macam tadi. Lebih pada perperiksaan. So yang kedua, persekitaran perpustakaan yang kondusif. So mesti ada perpustakaan itu, library. Macam mana misalnya saya pergi di Jogja, Universiti Negeri Jogja itu ada digital perpustakaannya. Surabaya macam mana Pak Asrar? Ada juga.
Untuk UNESA, we have the university has the digital library aspect.
Okey, itulah maksud yang kedua. Mesti ada perpustakaan yang kondusif. Boleh boleh ada wifi-nya bagus. Itulah peraturan yang fleksibel. Peraturan itu peraturan tidak terlalu ketat. Misalnya pelajar yang misalnya kanak-kanak pun boleh masuk, misalnya contoh saja. Okey, persekitaran yang kondusif juga. Okey, itu. Okey, bacaan.
I think your time is up.
Okey, sikit bahasa yang menarik, hubungan warga. Okey, kemudian pembangunan kompetensi staf. Beri latihan kepada staf juga. Dan yang keempat, kepimpinan sekolah yang profesional. Itu kepala sekolah itu juga yang bagus. Kalau mau menghasilkan reading habitual. Okey, kena waktu membaca. Misalnya di Malaysia itu waktu kelas itu daripada 7 sampai 12, ada satu waktu 1 jam pelajar dalam 1 minggu diberi masa untuk pergi ke library, perpustakaan. Itu contohnya waktu membaca. Yang kelima, perfakatan kalangan pengantaru. Maksudnya mesti ada kerjasama antara ibu bapa, masyarakat. Okey, menghargai pencapaian membaca. Misalnya di Malaysia itu kita ada nilam. Murid itu yang membaca banyak akan diberi hadiah. Okey, 8, pengharapan bersama. Harapannya itu akan menjadi tamadun yang tinggi, negara yang maju dengan membaca. Okey, pembentukan budaya membaca itulah menjadi yang tadi nilai norma itu. Okay, I think that's all. To sum up, to have a reading culture or reading habit. So all parties have to be collaboratively work. Bukan hanya ibu bapa, bukan hanya guru, bukan hanya dosen, tapi semua masyarakat dalam dan luar kampus universitas itu. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih, Faizal. That's I know you have a very long PowerPoints, but you have very limited time. So sure, I will share the PowerPoints to the students and also participants. So hopefully they could read that. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Yes, Professor Faizal, we are, could you wait for a second because I'll give the opportunity to Bu Desika before we move over to the questions and answer session. All right, thank you, Professor Faizal. So after Bu Desika, then we will have question and answer for both of you. Okay. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya, participants. Now I would like to invite our last speakers, last but not least. She is our own lecturer from Nonformal Education. Please welcome Ibu Desika Mardiani Putri. Bu Desika will give us some information about the research that she's done with the Faculty of Education about literacy culture. Silakan Bu Desika, waktu dan tempat ya.
All right, thank you so much for this occasion. Maybe I can share a screen?
Yes, Desika.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Alhamdulillah Alamin. I am very, very grateful and honored to be here to connect with all of you and everywhere you are. And now let's shift our focus to the main findings of our research. So, in this occasion, let me introduce myself first. My name is Desika Putri Mardiani. I am a lecturer from Nonformal Education Program at University of Surabaya. And now, let me share you about the output of the research titled Literacy Culture in Building Student Learning Independence at Faculty of Education, State University of Surabaya. Actually, this is an output of research, Mr. Ashar. And this research is led by Dr. Wiwin Julianingsih, M.Pd, and also the member of the research team are Professor Dr. Siti Masitoh M.Pd, Dr. Andi Mariono M.Pd, Dr. Najlatun Nakiyah M.Pd, and myself, Desika Putri Mardiani. Okay, in this research, I have two important points that I want to share to you all. The first one is that literacy is not only about reading skills, but also how to interpret readings. So literacy is more than writing and reading or also counting abilities. So this is about how to interpret reading, interpret the writing. And then the second is there is a relationship between literacy culture and student learning independence. So to understand these findings, let me provide some context. Okay, according to the Indonesian National Libraries in 2022, reading skill of Indonesian people is actually increased by 7.4%. But also, however, in this year, in 2022, Afghanis stated that literacy skill of people in Indonesia are still very low. So this is raised the question, so what is the difference between literacy skill and reading skill? So everyone, the reading skill is ability to sound out alphabets and also connect phrases, but literacy skills is an ability to process information and then how to gain information too, and also how to process information and interpret readings. And as we delve into the importance of literacy culture, let's consider its significance in an academic context. Okay, literacy culture, especially for students in an academic setting, is a significant milestone. Another reason for this research is the complexity of student learning at the university level, which cannot be fully accomplished solely in the classroom. So we just, generally we just have maybe 2 hours or 3 hours in this classroom, right? I think therefore it's essential for each individual to be independent in their learning. All right, okay, and this is the occasion I want to share you about the objective of this research. The first is to understand the relationship between literacy culture in fostering learning independence at FIP UNESA, or we can say Faculty of Education UNESA. And the second one is to describe the process of fostering literacy culture in creating learning independence at Faculty of Education UNESA. So, to provide a comprehensive view, let's move on to the literature review, which will help us to understand what the concept of culture and literacy. Okay, A prominent research by Matsumoto in 1996, culture is defined as a set of attitudes, values, beliefs, and behavior shared by a group of people but different for each individual, communicated from one generation to the next. And in 2016, UNESCO defined literacy as a person's ability to identify, determine, discover, evaluate, create effectively, and organize a concept. So from this definition, we can conclude that literacy culture is about habits, right? And then how the people can create an academic concept, academic academic atmosphere through speaking, writing, and also calculating and interpreting scientific concepts, and also they can practice in their daily life. And we have the components of literacy in 5.0 life, right? This is so many phrases that connect with literacy. There are reading and writing literacy, and then numeracy literacy, science literacy, digital literacy, finance literacy, and cultural literacy and citizenship. So many phrases that connected with it, and all of this kind of literacy is aimed to achieving goals, develop understanding and potential, as well as to participate in the social environment. So we have to categorize that is strategies to foster literacy culture. The first one is by thematic ways, and the second one is practical ways. So from the thematic ways, we can reach by discussion, and then lesson in the classroom, and also can develop writing or discussion in the class, and etc. And about the practical ways, we can reach it by implement it by applying the result of their discussion. So what we can get from this discussion in this classroom, we can implement it to our daily life. And the next, about literature review, it is about the learning independence. So independence learning is defined by Zumbrun and Zimmerman in 2017 as a process that regulates individuals' thinking, behavior, and emotion to achieve success in learning. And this is the Society 5.0 era that we can define as a concept of technological development that can be utilized in the world of literacy, where literacy cannot be separated from the ability to understand technology. It is, of course, right, and including science and knowledge in the form of information. And nowadays, it is becoming easier and easier, getting easier time by time, because the students can reach all of information, any information from internet. So in today's digital age, we have witnessed significant change in how information is accessed and consumed. So we no longer need to go to library to find some books, and we no longer need to go to bookstore to find books or buy some magazines or newspaper. All we need is about internet connection, right? And then the device that support this activity, like a laptop or a mobile phone or a tablet, and the others device. So with the world in our fingertips, so it can develop students to develop their knowledge independently, so they can learn in everywhere and anytime. So because this is an output of research, maybe I can spill the research method. This is a quantitative research, and it uses survey research. The time is from July to August 2023. The place is in Faculty of Education, Surabaya State University. And data research, we use primary data from questionnaire that created by Google Form. And then the secondary data is documentation, result, and archive of the learning process of FIP UNESA student, as well as articles published in scientific journal as supporting data needed. This is the population and sample. And the data collection instrument, we use Google Form, and then we collect and also process the data. And the collect technique, we use questionnaire and observation. This is the data processing technique, and maybe we can jump into the result and discussion, Mr. Ashar.
Yeah.
Okay. The analysis of literacy culture in building student learning independence is to answer the objective of this research, and this is the characteristic of learning independence. This is three types, right? The first one is encourages an individual to be creative and orient himself in learning and getting to know many things. And the second is resolving a problem in learning is also a process of independence and process of self-acceptance of criticism and suggestion can help someone to open up a change and recognize their identity in a better direction. And also the best use of technology by students is a demand and necessity in the teaching and learning process. So the relationship of literacy culture in building student learning independence, it demonstrates it is very good. The percentage is very good in positive, in the positive ways, and it can be seen that relationship and process of literacy culture towards student learning independence has a close continuity. So this is the conclusion of this output research. The highest research variable indicators are students' literacy and cultural abilities in the communication process between colleagues, students' ability in using technology when searching for lecture materials, student ability in using technology when doing lecture assignments, the ability to be disciplined and understanding polite attitudes toward other people, and also the ability to complete lecture assignments and the ability to accept suggestions and criticisms during the learning process. I think that's all my presentation, Mr. Ashar, because I am the last speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Desika. Thank you for sharing this interesting project that you've done with your team. So I would like to invite Professor Faizal back to the meeting. So, all right, I just add the spotlight to you, Professor. So first of all, Bapak Ibu participants, please give a big round of applause to the speakers on the second session. Thank you so much. So now is coming the questions and answer session. So I have some, there are some questions actually on the chat. However, I would like to also give an opportunity to the participants who want to ask directly to our speakers. Please do not hesitate, do not worry to raise your hand. So if you are not feeling confident with your English, you could also ask the questions in Bahasa Indonesia. So please. But first of all, Bu Desika and Pak Faizal, I would like to answer some questions. Just read the questions from the chat. All right. So I guess this one is definitely for Professor Faizal. For the back. All right. So this is a question from one of our students, Nuruliani, from the non-formal education. So if you think that you could answer this, Professor Faizal, yes, you could. Yeah, yes, you please. So she is asking directly about the non-formal education in Malaysia. First of all, how about the education policy supporting the non-formal education? And also, how are the Malaysian government actions to support the literacy, even though you have explained some on your presentation? And also, in the school's curriculums, is there any learning that is focusing on the local cultures? Ooh, 3 questions. All right. Professor, would you like to your response?
Apa itu? Yang pertama.
Yang pertama, kebijakan pendidikan non formal. So, are there any regulations about the non-formal education in Malaysia?
Okay, I'm sharing. I think I can combine it. I saw there is 3 questions from.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I can combine some question. So di Malaysia itu SDG memang itu yang ini SDG itu fokusnya pada sosial, environment dan ekonomi dan perancangan kerajaan Malaysia kita panggil 11 Vision Plan juga adalah selari inline iaitu anchoring growth on people. So for sure salah satu cara membangunkan masyarakat ataupun rakyat Malaysia itu menerusi pembelajaran yang ini. The team pokok utama, pokok dalam perancangan Malaysia itu ada pelbagai rancangan dan sekarang itu perancangan yang ke-11 itu ini dia punya temanya itu people are bedrock of the nation, preparing people for the future, everyone enjoys growth and development. Iaitu dia selari dengan 17 SDG itu, leaving no one behind. We call it tidak membelakangkan yang 17 itu. Dan fokus kita yang ini. Kita ada target hari ini dah. Misalnya dalam bentuk poverty dalam rancangan Malaysia yang ke-11 itu ada 7 targetnya. Itu yang education, salah satunya adalah menerusi poverty dan juga education itu berkaitan. Itu kemiskinan itu selalunya berkaitan dengan literasi itu. Buta huruf kita panggil yang tidak pandai membaca. Itu kerajaan mempunyai 10 target yang selari dengan 10 sasaran itu yang selari dengan yang ini SDG lah, Sustainable Development Goals, selari maksudnya perancangan kerajaan pemerintah itu selari dengan SDG itu. Yang kedua itu di Malaysia ada kita ada beberapa Malaysian Plan dan sekarang 11 Malaysian Plan dan kami akan menilai itu kami akan menilai setiap ini fasa 1 ini, fasa 2 ini dan setiap fasa itu akan ada penilaian. Fokus misalnya 2025 itu fokus on post 2020 goal and target berjaya enggak? So kita ada buat penilaiannya. Saya rasa itu saja daripada saya. Ada enggak Pak Asrar yang tak terjawab?
Alright, so let me check again with the question. So, alright, so maybe the third question. Is there any the local culture content on the curriculum in Malaysian school? Something about the local culture.
About what?
The local culture, budaya lokal, Professor.
Oh, budaya lokal itu. Okay, di Malaysia itu kita ada satu mata kuliah ataupun mata pelajaran yang dipanggil sejarah.
Sejarah, okay.
Jadi kita ada dua, there are 2 portion, there are 2 categories, there are 2 parts, in learning history in Malaysia. So yang pertama itu partnya lokal itu. Kita belajar misalnya penjajah itu, yang pertama penjajah di Malaysia sampai itu, dan part yang kedua adalah sejarah international history.
International.
Jadi yang budaya-budaya itu kita belajar menerusi local history itu.
Okay. Baik, terima kasih. There is a specific subject about the local culture in history. I think the second question from Well, I think Afida is already answered by your presentation with his slides. So now I'll give the questions to Desika. I got the questions from the, I don't know why, but he or she sends me a private chat on me also, on me only, so you could not see it on the chat box. So the questions is, what the faculties of education need to do to support the literacy for the students at the Faculty of Education? Are there any suggestions of what faculty should do with Desika? So that's the question.
The Faculty of Education to do. I think it is about the facilities first, I think, because in 5.0 era, we need the internet connection, right? And then we need the connection of internet higher, and we can develop our facilities. The other facilities, it's about maybe a device. Maybe we need computer in the corner of every building, maybe, and also we need to be a person that wants to develop ourselves. It can be schedule ourselves to read books every day, at least 15 minutes every day. It can be literate person. I think that's my question. That's my answer, Mr. Ashar.
Thank you, Desika. That's very interesting to know that. Of course, you have to ensure that we have the adequate facilities to support the literacy and the reading culture, and also we need to ensure. Probably we should give the pressure to our students to read at least 15 minutes. That's a very nice suggestion. All right, thank you so much, Desika. Thank you, Prof. Faizal. I think that's the end of the sessions. Once again, thank you so much for your participation. I know that this is Saturday. It's usually the family time, but thank you for sharing your time with us. So before we end, of course, we would like to present you the certificate. We will send you the soft copies of it, so don't worry. So the first certificate will be given to Professor Muhammad Faizal Ghani. So the committee would like to present the certificate. Okay, wait a sec. I think there is some internet connection issues from the committee. Silakan untuk panitia bisa membagikan. Alright, that's it. That's on the screen. To Bu Desika first, sorry. Bu Desika, terima kasih banyak. So that's your certificate. We'll give it to you, of course.
Thank you so much.
So much. Next up to Professor Muhammad Faizal bin Abdul Ghani. Thank you so much for your participation today to speakers. That's the end of the session. So now we will have the closing of this webinar. All right. But before that, I would like to say thank you so much to Nonformal Education for hosting the international webinar and to giving us the opportunity to discuss and to learn more from the Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand about the literacy culture. And also as the moderators, I would like to apologize if I made any mistakes during the event, and we'll see you again in another event. So I'll give it back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you so much, Professor.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Ashar, for leading the main section. And dear audiences, before we go to the last section, let us take a moment to pray, and it will be handled by Brother Muhammad Iqbal, one of the student exchange of Kemendikbud's program in State University of Makassar. To Brother Iqbal, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For the Muslim, I will lead the prayer, and for the others, you can adapt to it. A'udhu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yu'afi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazida. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu wa lakal syukru kama yanbaghi li jalalika wajhikal karimi wa adimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ighfir lana dhunubana wa li walidina wa li masyayikhina wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم إنك سلامة في الدين وعافية في الجسد وزيادة في العلم وبركة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت ورحمة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت اللهم هون علينا في شكرات الموت ونجاة من النار وعفا عند الحساب ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذريتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما ربنا أوزئنا أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علينا وعلى والدينا وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه وأدخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحانك ربك العزة أما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين ببركة الفاتحة Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Now, before we go to the last section, we have a virtual photo together. So for the audiences, I please you to start your video with the right virtual background. And I will count 1 till 3. So for the operator, are you ready? Okay, let me count 1, 2, 3. The next slide. 1, 2, 3. And the last. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so thank you very much. Before we close our international webinar today, I can't thank you enough for all speakers, Mrs. S.Pd from Kunken University, Thailand, Mr. Narong Kiettkunwong, B.Sc, LLB, M.Pd, LLM from Kunken University, Thailand, Mr. Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Ghani from University of Malaya, Malaysia, and Mrs. Desika Mardiani Putri, S.Pd, M.Pd from Faculty of Education, Student University of Surabaya. And for all lecturers and audiences, thank you for joining and having time in an international webinar meeting of Non-Formal Education Department. I am, as the Master of Ceremony, I do apologize for every single mistake that I made. May our event today be useful for us. Thank you for all making time to join us here today. It has been our pleasure to join this event. And for the certificate, it can be received through your individual email. And I am Al-Madita Faiz. See you on another occasion. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.